Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan Nair, and this is basically 210 part. That is basically 210. That is the formula part. So here basically we are discussing about the software industry, how the entire world basically is digitally connected. For example, one person told that um, what oxygen basically you have sent to the Vadodara city. Then basically it's very easy to collect this information. Why? Because the data science project is there basically that basically says that this data basically you have sent to the each and every people because they have eaten this all the foods, so that foods whatever things basically they have eaten, that data basically they have it. So according to that basically they are sending the data. So whatever things basically they, for example, they are eating foods today, so oxygen basically is going to supply after 2 3 days of that food, after 2 3 days basically. So basically data science company basically have the data of exact data. And here basically the artificial intelligence software basically comes into the picture when the prediction happens. Prediction means, for example, if this person has eaten this, then basically is going to convert to any disease. If not, then basically what would be the temperature of that blood cells? So each and everything basically is going to also cover. So that basically comes into the artificial intelligence software. This basically all are the medical level software. This all are basically the medical level software, which basically contains in the artificial intelligence. So there are many software basically created which basically contains into the digital world. Basically digital world means lots of people says that what actually the digital is. Basically digital means everything happens automatically, but manual process basically has done long before basically. Then for example internet, lots of people say it's basically the manual, it's a automatic process that we are searching the www dot the whatever website name dot com dot org page whatever, it basically automatically comes into your web browser. But lots of hard work basically has done long before, then only basically the data is coming in front of your browser. For example, you are connecting to one of the video groups, you are giving some live demo to any group basically. So that there basically the power supply basically is passing the power supply to that video software basically, and video software basically is registered in the basically internet, in the internet world basically. You can say it's in software power supply basically, the software power bank basically. You can say software power bank means you can say that all the basically software which requires the power supply, that basically the power company has, right? By default basically they have the, otherwise they are how going to supply the power supply, how they are going to supply the power supply. If basically they don't have the data, then basically the global object basically have this power supply. For example, there is one website that basically is intranet, and it's not registered in the global wise, but text box in internet, in that basically website text box is there, combo box is there, so these all are basically registered, right? So each and every object basically are registered. So due to that object, basically you can able to view the websites. Otherwise, basically the internet also is not going to work. But it's registered. That's why basically it's displaying. Otherwise, basically internet also is not going to work. So there are basically lots of things basically uh, like this. So this basically is the example of the one of the uh, activation basically, how basically each and everything basically you can see. So like this also basically things are there basically, right? So here basically we are discussing about the power supply basically, which is getting passed to the each and every cities. Each and every cities basically who are basically passing the power supplies, and that basically they are passing the power supply on the base of subscription data. That is the World Bank basically is passing the data. World Bank is basically passing the data to the power supply, right? So World Bank is passing it. So World Bank basically everybody knows that where the World Bank is there. Where is the World Bank? That everybody knows. Where the World Bank is, that everybody knows. Where the World Bank is, that everybody knows, right? Where the World Bank is, that everybody knows. So World Bank basically have the data of the subscription plan of the each and every cities, and the subscription plan basically they are government employees, and they basically have to they have the list of the each and every cities basically you can say they have that. So so you can just imagine with the power supply basically they are passing to each and every cities basically. So one person basically asked the question: if we don't supply the power supply, then what is going to happen? By chance, due to some reason, World Bank basically got crashed. Then what is going to happen? This basically it's by default basically. This might come one day basically. Why? There might be some reason basically. The World Bank also might crash one day. So World Bank told that basically we also basically have backup like same way basically the text box is having. For example, World Bank is telling that each and every country basically have many ways of basically running the cities, right? There are basically many cities. Basic, for example, there is one Delhi city. They are basically running certain level of things, right, in their way. So that is one way. But what happens if that city, Delhi city, basically get crashed due to some flood, due to some natural disaster? Then what is going to happen? That time basically the World Bank is telling that we have the alternative basically. The alternative is the another city basically. The another city same backup basically is created, but exactly basically it's not going to work. Why? Because the exactly it's not possible. For example, Earth planet basically have many copies, and assume that they have created 20 lakh copies of the Earth planet only, and there basically lots of people are also basically staying. Lots of people basically are also staying. So by chance assume that Earth planet ended. So Earth planet has ended many times, right? That is basically there more than 99 times. More than 99 times the Earth planet has ended. But there was a backup of 20 lakh. That's why basically nothing has happened to the Earth planet. Sorry, to the Earth planet chain basically you can say where the Earth planet is creating that symbol basically 2900 symbol. So here basically the thing is, whatever things basically is creating by the Earth planet, that backup is basically taken in some of the planets, but not in the 20 lakh planet. Why? Because assume that due to some in universe basically anything can happen. That is basically by default. So assume that Earth planet basically generate that type of energy which was not supposed to generate, and basically they have taken the backup of this data to other planet also, that planet also basically got destroyed. So that's why basically they don't take Earth planet backup to each and every planet. So few planet basically are connected with the Earth planet, and they basically takes the data like this. Basically the Earth planet backup basically are taken, but all are basically different, all are not chained. But when they verify that the data can be taken and can be take, and the data is basically perfect stage basically where basically the data can be take to the universe, that time they takes the data, that time basically they takes the data, that time basically they takes the data basically, right? That time basically they takes the data. So like this basically there are many ways also that basically we have already taken, we have already talked, and we have already seen that. So like this was about the system basically which is government has created, not government basically, the World Bank is created. So World Bank is telling that we are also basically ready, if anything happens to the World Bank. If anything happens to the World Bank, because World Bank is also basically situated at any in one place basically, and there also disaster might happen. So that is also there. So basically, the group basically who basically are handling the World Bank, they are basically mostly those group basically who are basically into the charity trust. Charity trust means they basically donate their entire basically the business income to most of to the charity trusts. So those group basically those type of groups basically only handles the World Bank, right? So that are basically assume that 1 crore amount basically the businessman earned. So around 30 to 40 lakh basically he just donated. So just taking as an example basically. So and other money basically are handled by the tax department, but tax department basically never handles the World Bank. Why? Because tax amount is totally different. Tax amount basically is totally different. So that is the World Bank basically. And World Bank basically are totally independent. They have totally different consultant. They are not dependent on the any of the country because they have to run the world. They have many backup of each task. For example, they told that 15,000 is the city which is going to give rain to the India country. So by chance anything happened to that 1500 city, then that does not mean that the rain system is going to stop. That does not mean the rain system is going to stop. They have the different backups also. They have the different backup also because the system is already created, right? The system is already created by a set of groups. They have already taken the decision that like this way basically we are going to handle the seasons. So the decision is already taken, and the universe basically groups have already approved. Why? Because they have activated the rainy system. Like for example, 15,000 is running the cities of India, then basically they have by default handled by default approved, right? Because the activation is also happened, because the activation is already also happened. So one question basically the one person basically asked, the question was basically if assume that the sun, planet, and moon, sorry, there is no like sun, but assume that sun and moon basically is getting raised, is not getting raised, is not coming in the Earth planet. There basically lights are not coming in the Earth planet. Then basically what is going to happen? And the question basically was very dangerous. The question basically was very dangerous. The answer was basically given by the Bollywood group is that in this world basically at least one country or one city basically is always going to raise moon or sun in 24 hours basically. So there is no time basically in this world basically, that is 24 hours. Within this 24 hours at least one city is going to get sun and moon effect. That is the rule basically. So that was the basically answer. So you can just imagine how dangerous way the world is handling, getting handled. If by chance sun and moon basically does not raise in the Earth planet in any of the city, if only one city basically is enough. So one city basically is enough basically. So that was the basically question, and that was the answer. So one city is also enough. So in this world, basically, like this thing basically never happened. That in this world, basically, sun and moon has never raised. This is basically never going to happen, and basically this has never happened also. And for this, basically, many movies are also created, and many basically songs are also created. Like this, many things are also created. So so Bollywood groups are always basically connected with the each and every questions. Basically, they are connected with the Facebook. And if I say that basically Facebook, Twitter basically are directly connected with the Bollywood groups and Hollywood groups, then basically it would be 100% correct because this is the user stories basically from where the Bollywood groups gets the user stories. So Bollywood groups are basically has created the software industry. So by default, this Twitter, Facebook are directly connected with the Hollywood and Bollywood groups. They are directly connected. And if I say that basically the owners are also might be from Hollywood, Bollywood character, then basically it would not be. Wrong. It would be 100% correct. It would be 100% correct. So the things are also like this. So like this also things are basically there. Like these things are also there. So you basically, if you get any information, if you get any information from any of the source, if you get any information from the any of the source, then the source basically might be 100% authenticated, because that source basically is created when they basically are giving the information. They are not creating the information, right? They are not basically creating the information. They are basically not creating the information. They are creating the information. No, they are not creating them. One person basically told that this person is going to get some disease. So is somebody basically creating this disease? No, it's not like that. That this person is going to get some problem. This person is going to get some problem in his eye. This person is going to problem in his heart. This person is going to some problem in his hand. This person is going to problem get some problem in his nose. This person is going to get some problem in his ear. This person is going to some problem in his stomach. So like this basically the things are there basically, right? That this is going to happen, that is going to happen. So that is basically not created. That is basically not created. That basically happens by default. That basically happens by default. That is basically not created by the certain groups, right? That is not created by the certain groups. That is basically not created by the certain groups. So like these things are also basically there. So here the thing is basically, so here basically the thing is, here the things is how basically the things are going to work. One person basically told that this person is going to get some heart attack. So how basically heart attack can we get? That is basically this is basically not created by someone, right? This is basically not created by someone. This is actually not created by someone, right? This is not created by someone. This is basically the natural thing, na? So he basically the artificial intelligence software basically diagnosed that he is going to get. So that is basically one information given by the software. So to prove basically that software is basically 100% correct, they are not going to give the heart attack, right? But this type of thing also happens in the world. To prove themselves basically that their information are 100% correct, they basically give the heart attack also. So this type of things are also basically the, so basically the news channel basically which are basically connected, they basically are not dangerous, very dangerous. They can basically create also the thing. So that type of power basically the government has given to them. That type of power the government has given, right? They have not basically, they have basically applied for the power, but the government has given, right? So government basically is going to suffer one day. If anything by chance something happened, and that basically connected to the that incident basically connected to the whole world, sorry, to the entire country, and due to that country basically the entire world also basically suffered. So now basically by default that country government will be responsible, right? Because they have given the power to the news channels. They basically each and every news channel are basically not like that. Each and every news channel are basically not like that. Few channels are basically like that. Each and every news channel are not like that. So like this is basically the 210 part. In 211 part basically we are going to discuss a little bit more about the subscription plan.